Hi guys, Dinner Lady here. Right, so it's Friday and it's my turn to cook. So what I'm decided to do, when I went into Newcastle last Saturday, we had a walk through Marks and Spencer's and I got some venison mince and it was on reduced. So I've got some of that. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to make a venison burger. But I'm not going to use ordinary buns. I'm going to be making some English muffins to have with them. So I'll bring you down and I'll show you what the ingredients are. Right, so for the English muffins, that's what we're going to do first. I've got 500 grams of strong plain flour, strong bread flour, sorry. I have, where is it gone? There it is. Got a sachet of instant yeast. I have 15 grams of sugar, 6 grams of salt, got 15 grams of butter, and that's been melted down. Got 1 egg, and I've got 220 mils of milk there. And for the burger, like I say, I've got this. It's been in the freezer. So I got it out yesterday and let it defrost in the fridge. So that's a venison mince. We're going to have, there's a couple of bits of bacon there that needs using up before we go shopping tomorrow. So I'm going to have that. Got some tomatoes that need used up as well. I've got some rocket to go with it. Some mature cheddar cheese, just can't have a burger without cheese. And I'm going to make a little bit of a relish as well with some natural yoghurt, garlic, some of these pickled cornichons and some tomato sauce. And I might even do some chips. So Ian's out getting the car fixed at the moment, so I'm just going to crack on and get on with it. Right, so the first thing I've done is I've just warmed the milk up just a little bit in the microwave. I'm going to add the instant yeast straight in there. I'm going to add the melted butter, the sugar and the egg. Mix that all together. I should use the bigger jug. Right, so I'm just going to leave that to bloom for about 5 minutes and then I'll come back. Right, so that's been left there for about 5 minutes. I've got my bread flour there. I'm just going to add in the salt and mix it through. Put a nice little well in the middle and just pour your liquids straight in. Maybe one of it wrong side. Just make sure that you've got all of your yeast and all of that straight into there. Right, and this is just a bit of a rough dough, this one. You don't need this one for very long. You just really want this to come together. It does help with the texture of the finished muffin. You could use a mixer if you wanted to, but to be perfectly honest, just want it into a rough. Right, so I'm just going to keep going with this, get it into a rough little loaf, well, ball type thing. Just make sure you mix it all in. Yeah, so I don't know what time Ian's going to be home because his friend does it for him, who's a mechanic, and he's been at work today, so let's just wait until he finished work. Just going to get my hand in there, just get it together. That's better. Let's try and get as much of this in as we possibly can. I'm going to make these bigger than what you would normally find in the shops because obviously today these are going to be our burger buns. So you don't want the littler ones that you get in the shops. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cover that, put it in a nice warm spot, out the way of any drafts, and leave it for 45 minutes. Right, so it's had its first 45 minutes, and you can see it's risen a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of oil on here, just a tiny little bit, Just stop it from sticking. Just there. And then get this out and put a little bit in the bottom of here. So it's going to go back in just so that it doesn't stick on the second proof. I'm just going to give this just a quick, just a little bit of a knock back like that, look. I don't want to add any extra flour or anything, that's why I've just put that little tiny bit of oil down there. Right, that's it. Into the bowl, turn it round, give it a bit of a swish, just so it's coated. We'll cover it again with the cloth and give it another 45 minutes. Right, so while that's on for the second proof, I want to get on with the sauce. This can just sit in the fridge nicely and all the flavours can get together. So the 1 clove of garlic in there, that's it. Back of your knife, never use the front because you'll hurt the blade. Don't need a lot of garlic. I'm not making a load of sauce on here. I want some of this yogurt, just a couple of those. We're only having a burger each, don't need huge amounts. And a couple of these, I'm just going to cut them up, put them into quarters first. You can use mayonnaise if you don't have any yogurt. It's just, to be honest, we've got my tiniest little bit of mayonnaise left in the fridge and there wouldn't have been enough, so I thought I'd just use the yogurt instead. Got a bit of a tang anyway. Right, actually I think that'll probably be enough. So 1 of those can go back in the fridge. And then squirt. This is not so much a recipe, this is just what I've been doing for years. Let's have a little taste. You've got the sourness of the yogurt, the sweetness of the ketchup, and you've got the tang of the pickles and that little bit of garlic. I'm going to put a bit of salt in, a bit of pepper. Always got to season everything all the way through. Do you know what, I'm going to put another one of them in. It doesn't seem much in once I've actually... Oh, I think somebody's already been chomping on that one. Which I know they haven't because it was a new jar, so... There we go. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. Right, so this is just going to put all these away, put that back in the fridge, and then once the 45 minutes is over, we'll come and we'll shape our muffins. Right, so that's the second 45 minutes done. Now what I've also done is I've got a tray ready here, which I've got, in the recipe it's meant to be semolina. I haven't got any semolina, but I did have some cornmeal, so I've just put some of that on there. And when I've knocked this back and made them into the muffin sizes, I'm going to put them on there for the final 30 minutes proof. I have this one, which is slightly bigger than what I would normally use for an English muffin, but like I say, it's for burgers. So right, so I'm just going to get this, like a big pillow. Look at that, how beautiful. Just love dough. You know, you put a couple of ingredients together and then all of a sudden this is what you get. So I'm just going to roll it. We've got that oil on there, so we shouldn't need any flour or anything on here. I'm going to try and get it. Don't forget it's going to proof for another 30 minutes once we've made them into the muffins. So I'm going to go too small. Let's, oh, don't want that side, I want this side. There's one. Second one. Nope. Let's push it out slightly. Get a third one in there. Right, so I'm going to get these on the tray. Oh, it hasn't gone right through there. That's better. Get this on the tray. And continue rolling this, and then we'll come back. Right, so I'm getting 5 out of that. So I'm just going to turn that over, get a little bit more of that cornmeal there. On either side. Don't know if you've had English muffins. And if you have, you can always see there's a little bit of this sort of flour on the outside. Right. Sure it's a bit covered. Doesn't have to be fully covered. Just a little bit on there, just helps them not to stick, that's all. Right, I'm going to put a cloth back over them and for the last 30 minutes and then we'll get them cooking. Right, so they've had their 30 minutes and they've risen really, really well. So you don't bake English muffins, you fry them. I've got this on, I've got it on a low heat. And I'm just going to put a couple at a time, low heat for about 5, maybe 6 minutes each side. You see that one's risen, I think that one was the last one that I did, which was all with all the scraps. But just let that go for about 5 minutes. I'm using this cast iron only because I've got it, but you can use any sort of frying pan that you have. I've just put a little bit of oil in there because this isn't a classic non-stick. If you have got a non-stick pan, then you don't need to put any oil in at all. But I put the oil in and I've wiped it out so you can see there's not a lot in there. So I'm going to give it 5 minutes on this side and then I'll turn them over. Right, so they've had 5 minutes on low on that side. Let's have a little look. You can see that they've grown a little bit. Oh, look at that. I'm going to turn them over and just finish off another, I would say probably about 4 minutes on that side. And then we'll come back. Right, so that's had 4 minutes on that side. As you can see, they're lovely. So I'm going to put them over there to cool. I've already got my rack ready. And I'm going to do the other ones and then I'll come back to you. Right, so that's all the English muffins done. Some of them are absolutely humongous, which is not a problem with that. So I'm going to start cooking the burgers in. Lovely done that for us. The bacon's cooked. I've got the cheese there, I've got my bit salad ready, and there's the relish. So if you come back over, we'll start doing the burgers. Right, so this is the pan that I've cooked the bacon in. I'm just going to toast off. I've opened up the English muffins. Just going to toast these off nicely. Look at them. Get a little bit of colour on that. Should have really used my bigger pan, shouldn't I?
Aye, got a big massive one.
Yeah, you want to pass that over and I'll change it. I just wanted that one because it had the bacon fat in, but hey, it's going to be better with this, I think. Right, I'm going to turn that up. I've dipped it in the bacon fat anyway, so I'm just going to get that nicely toasted. I've got the chips just about ready. Yep, they're doing really, really nice. Starting to get some colour already. couple of minutes for this and then we'll get the burgers in. Right, so these are nicely toasted now. I'm just going to put them on the plate. We're on a high heat. Put the burger on. A couple of minutes each side and then that should be done. So I'll bring you back in a couple of minutes. Right, so they've had a couple of minutes on that side. I'm just going to pop a little bit of salt and pepper on this side. I put all three of them in, they might as well get used. There we go, look, that's what you want. Still got a nice high heat. Got a little bit of salt and pepper on this one. Right, so I've got the chips there. I've done some big fat chips for me and some little chips for Ian because that's what he prefers. So we'll both get what we want. Going to turn that over and put some cheese on. I've already grated. And I'm using the lid from our wok. A little bit smaller, but it'll steam up really nicely. Melt that cheese, and what I'll do is I'll bring you across and we'll start assembling. Right, so there's Ian's chips and the muffin. I'm going to put some of this on the top. Now that looks absolutely amazing. Burger on there. And all the resting juices from the burger will go straight into that English muffin. Oh, it smells gorgeous. A couple of bits of tomato. All these are for Ian, I'm not that bad. Bit of bacon. A little bit of rocket. And there you go, guys. My take on an English muffin. Just move that over there. English muffin venison burger. Right, well, Ian's hungry, so I think it's time that he came along and had himself a bit of a bite.
Yummy! Hello guys. Right, I'm actually quite hungry. So I'm going to dig in, I'm going to go straight in, I'm not even going to cut it in half.
You did ask us, do I want you to cut it in half? And I went, no, it's a burger.
Look at that baby. Right, I'm getting in, I'm getting stuck in. Get the hunch. in case anything dribbles. Sorry. Muffins nicely toasted. That's beautiful, that. The venison burger is lovely. The relish is lush. The tomato, the rocket, the bacon, and the dressing that's on there. It's spot on, and it's hitting the spot, and I'm hungry. That's a good burger. Everything cooked from scratch. Spot on. Try some of the chips.
Yeah, how crunchy they are.
You could, yeah. That's how I like my chips. I like the fries rather than chips. I'm not over keen on wedges either. I like them thin.
Too much
French
potato
fries,
for you, isn't it?
French fries. That's really, really good.
Well, I decided to do the English muffin because everybody goes on about brioche buns, but every time we seem to have a burger with brioche buns, they just disintegrate in your hands.
The thing about the muffin, it's more substantial at the bottom. Like so, you get a brioche bun, and after a while it gets a bit soggy, doesn't it? And you're picking it up and it sort of like breaks up.
Yeah.
Unless you toast it, but even then, with that, especially with it being homemade, it's solid. I don't mean it's solid, but I mean it's never going to break up. So all the sauce and everything stays within the bun.
Yeah.
Which is what you want. So.
And we've got plenty leftovers for tomorrow.
Got some long sausage in the fridge, just screaming out for that, haven't we?
Well, there's breakfast.
With an egg on top. Yummy. Right, so once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting, liking and subscribing. If you haven't done either, please consider doing so. Man's subscriptions have shot right up just recently. Love it. Keep it coming. I'm the same. Mine's going up. It'd be nice to get, I'm creeping up towards 2,000 subs on my channel. That's great, but man's is just taking off again.
Yeah.
And we really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks so much.
Totally. You just don't understand how much it means to me. You know, we both work full time. Then as soon as we finish work, it's not easy filming.
No.
We thought it was just going to be like sort of dead easy, you know, it's for tea. It is for tea, that's what we do.
It is, but
there's
a lot of stuff going on in the background that you don't see.
Yes, there's a lot of hard work in there. But
prepping and everything else.
Absolutely love it. And I love all your comments, so thank you very much.
And we haven't mentioned that we will be going on holiday
on Friday.
A week today, which is Friday. We're going to Turkey for a week, which will be nice.
Yes.
A week away.
Going with your James and
going
Vicky.
with my son and his girlfriend again, yeah. And we're off to Turkey, so it's for a week. So we're now officially on holiday from now, so we've got a week now, and then we've got another week after that where we're going to Turkey. So yeah, again, thanks for everything. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we do.
And it's my turn tomorrow, so we'll see you guys very, very soon. So thanks for now.
See you later, guys.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye bye.